Yeah, let's start with the Acolyte. Obviously, this is
Ooh, starting strong.
the one your kind of specialties.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Mm-hmm.
penultimate episode, time to wrap things up, and I actually thought it was a very interesting penultimate episode. What was your kind of thoughts on it?
Absolutely called it. I called it. I called it. I done told you so. I said so. Okay. So when episode 3 came out, it was all, oh, this makes no sense. This makes no sense. Of course, it made no sense. Like, there's no way that solely a fire is killing all of those witches, and in the way that they all died close together. Smoke insulation won't do that. You know. So, like, anyway. So, really, 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 really good. Give us the questions, give us the answers that we needed, and it's put everybody even like with more context for where they are, which means that next week's going to be really, really explosive because
Yeah.
OSHA feels like she knows, and then her idol is going to be ripped away from her and just stripped bare. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see it because I am a massive part of like the Soul Patrol, right? Because we got Soul Patrol, the Yord Horde. Um, Jackie's got one as well. Like, there's a whole bunch of names for people on the show that everybody are really digging. And yeah, Jedi Master Soul is my favorite, and I'm worried. I'm really worried. I'm really, really worried because he's given just an outstanding, shining performance. They all have. Let's
He's
be
really
fair,
good. Yeah.
right? But he's done just really, really well, becoming the favorite. And I'm worried that he's not going to make it till next season. I'm worried that there's going to be some kind of battle. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so what if next week there is the Sophie's Choice that Jedi Master Soul had this week, right? Of I'm using the Force powers. I have to save one child.
Mm-hmm.
Who's it going to be? That OSHA gets put in a position where she has to choose between May and Soul.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
I
going to be
yeah, I can see
interesting.
That'd be fun. Yeah, no, it was I definitely thought it was a very interesting choice to kind of put a little like another kind of prequel episode right here at the end. Like, I definitely think it makes sense due to what happened last week with us being like, I wish I could tell you what I've been waiting all this time to tell you this thing or my side of the story or whatever. It is definitely interesting to put that kind of as like the penultimate though. Like, it's like maybe but also it's one of those things. It's 8 episodes. Where else would you put an episode like this? Which I definitely like the prospect of like, this is my POV of episode 3. Like, I think that's a really fun idea, and I think that's a fine line to walk because like, can you do it without making it boring, without just seeing the same thing kind of over again? And I think they did a solid job of keeping you kind of engaged throughout it and keeping it doesn't feel too bland. And again, I also think it helps that Solo is like, I think easily the best character in the show like thus far. Like, I think he's I really enjoy his character. But also, like, were you at all upset? Not upset, but like, were you at all kind of thinking, this is a weird place to put the episode, or are you okay with it?
I'm perfectly fine with it. Even more so if we get a season 2, which I'm desperate for at this point. Desperate for, and I'm hoping that it's not like something that Marvel do where they're like, right, well, we set up this project and now you're just going to see these people elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
or
I
season
want it
2's in
now.
like 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, don't even. Oh my god. So yeah, so I need a season 2 to happen. I need like more relationships explained. I need to see where they go, because like Jedi Master Soul has so much to work with. Because he's lost an apprentice. He's on the verge, like he has an attachment which he has to deal with, which he's had this whole time,
Yeah.
Which shows the Jedi are just as fallible as I am. See, check that name out. See that little name right there? Where is it? Right there. See that? Yeah, the Jedi are just as fallible. That's what it is. So, Where are you hoping Osha ends up? Good or bad? Or in the middle?
I don't know. Kind of in the middle. Because, like, I definitely did enjoy, like, a couple weeks. Like, I don't know. Like, it is a really fun aspect of, like, and we talked about this last week, but, like, Osha kind of getting to see the bad perspective that, what's the other one's name? Osha and May, right? That, yeah, getting to see, like, where she's coming from and the upbringing that she went through and what she's been going through, and then May being able to see, like, the Jedi way and why that way is also something that someone would want and that kind of something. So I would like each character kind of take something from each other and maybe both become more balanced individuals. But no, I think I am actually very excited to see those two characters, I assume, reunite next week with both new perspectives and just be like, look, I think we need to get those two characters sitting down and like, hey, let's talk. Like, let's get you guys in some therapy and talk out your issues.
Like, because Osha was nowhere near everything that happened, right? So either she's going to get a vision, or she's going to have to get the revelation from one of those two, you know?
Sure.
I would kind of prefer it if she gets like a vision in the helmet, because then we can just move on to other stuff instead of having like a whole argument and then, hey, no, you're wrong, this is what it is, and there's she'll understand the situation and how to tackle it going in, you know. I would prefer that, if I'm honest. I'm not sure where I want. She's obviously a good character, but has like a lot of emotions. Kamir is trying to like use that to his ends, obviously. I like when you're training, you get like blue or green lightsabers, and I think the yellow comes. Well, it used to come as part of being a guard on the thing. Now it's as a sentinel and stuff, and so like maybe one of three. So I'm hoping to see it with a purple lightsaber because of the whole embracing darkness stuff and like Mace Windu aspect. So that'd be really cool.
Sure.
And I've seen Amandla posing with purple lightsabers, so
that'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of lightsabers, easily again, like I'm not like super into the show or anything, but like easily my favorite part of the episode was just like selfishly like the freaking Wookiee lightsaber fight coming in here, and
so
like,
good.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I'm like at the dinner table eating spaghetti. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is really fun.
Okay, so this is the Wookiee is a very good example, right? So if you notice, the Wookiee was not very agile and didn't have much dexterity when it came to fighting, right? It wasn't very like one. It was, I'm using my power and my force and this, you know, my strength, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like, because he doesn't need to, right? Because he doesn't need to. And that's kind of like how the Jedi get in 100 years, over the next 100 years. Because there's just been like lacks of enemies going on and on and on. They just get like weaker and weaker, really, you know?
Sure.
So it's very, very
I
interesting.
feel like there's a reason Chewie didn't need a lightsaber. He didn't need to be a Jedi in the movies.
Did not
he's
need
a
it.
freaking Wookiee, and he can just tackle some folks.
I have a really interesting, like, technical question that I'm absolutely certain that they won't answer, possibly until season 2. I don't know if you noticed, but when Mother Anasea was using the magic to separate Torbin and Mother Coral, right? And then she's there just before she like gets got with the lightsaber. She's like, no, and then spreads out, right? As she's spreading out and dusting apart, so's May.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, what's that about?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I have no idea. About. Yeah, I was like, are they connected in some like such a maybe a stronger way? I don't know.
Yeah, because it didn't show like Osha that happening to Osha in any way. it didn't cut and show her like a part of her disappearing, because that might be a part of the fact that she didn't have the ascension as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I actually really appreciated us now getting to see May's test, because the first time we only got to see OSHA's test, right? Yeah,
Yes, yes. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, absolutely.
I really liked that scene of him being like, let's try the next one differently. Like, clearly they went in with not the perspective we wanted them to have. Let's try this way. And I thought that was a really fun way to use the, like, this is my perspective or whatever. And I did think it made me like episode 3 a lot more. Like I remember thinking it was pretty alright. And I did feel like I had just a better understanding about that entire episode than we did previously, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. Because again, this is another thing that I've been discussing recently, is like, one, like, you're absolutely right. It made it not dull. The fact that they separated the girls into episodes, like, made it feel less repeated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was great. So you're absolutely right. But like, yes, the Jedi have like a deal with the Republic, right? But not every person on a planet wants to be a part of the Republic. Do you know what I mean? And then all of the planets in the galaxy aren't a part of the Republic. So a Jedi's authority is very questionable. Do you know what I mean? It would be like the Crusaders of the Christian faith, right? Back in the day with their swords and everything, just running around saying we're the heroes, and this is just, you've got to do what we do, you know. Because Knights of the Old Republic 2, a game from 2005, I think it was, had people a quote in there saying that most people in the galaxy just see the Jedi and the Sith as two halves of the same coin, just two parts of the same religion, you know. So then them walking around with like pious authority saying that we're the good guys, we have a right to check children, you know, like, who says so? Who says you do? Really, honestly, like, who made you morally right over everything, you know? So yeah, it's very, very difficult. But then on the side of it that we've seen, again, for the most part, until Torben gets like overzealous, they are just genuinely trying to do the right thing and are trying to look out for the girls.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously the finale is next week. I am always very, you know, I think I've enjoyed the show for the most part. I think it's been a solid show, a solid little show. Hello, Liam, how's it going? I will say, you know, if you don't mind, just a little bit of criticism, and it's not really even criticism. It's just like, it does have that Disney Plus thing for me, where it doesn't necessarily feel like a show. It feels kind of like a 8-episode movie, and I am kind of. I have had issues with Disney Plus finales in the past. I will say, like, I have disliked more Disney Plus finales than I've liked them. Like, obviously, stuff like Loki was amazing. We've had some fun ones here and there. But, I mean, are you worried about how we're going to be wrapping up the show next week, or the season next week? Are you worried it's going to fall into the trap of a lot of these other Disney Plus shows, or do you have faith?
I have faith. I have absolute faith. It is not shaken in any way. They've given us no reason in any way to make us worry. They've shown that they are both fans of Star Wars and the wider universe. They have a very deep knowledge of the lore. They've obviously worked very close with Dave Filoni when they said that he was a mentor for them, you know. So just bring it on. I cannot wait, and just renew these guys. There's already like a hashtag on Twitter for a hashtag renew the Acolyte, you know.
Yeah, I've seen that. I hope.
Let's get it.
I genuinely hope the fans of the show get what they want. I hope they get another season. I also hope they get it entirely to piss off the people who don't want it. I want it just because, like, that's the thing with She-Hulk, is everyone hated She-Hulk, and She-Hulk didn't get another season. I don't think that's about ratings as much as like the price that it would take for them to make a season 2 of She-Hulk. But like that was also like irritating because I think that like fueled those fires of being like, yeah, it did suck. I didn't get a season 2, and it's just like that's not why. There's a recent reason why that. So I hope it gets one just to make all the other people that don't want one mad. So it's crazy.
Yeah, again, yeah, you're right. It wouldn't validate what they were saying in any way because it's still an insanely good show, you know.
Yeah.
And I am so thrilled with what we've got because I was expecting, you know, the scenes that we got on Coruscant with Master Vanastra talking with Ki-Adi-Mundi and like even in the transport bay talking to the other ones, or even Soul in the prison chambers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was expecting just like a whole show of that with maybe a couple of lightsaber fights in it. Yeah. I am so happy with what we've got, honestly, because they could have they could have done that, and like a whole bunch of Star Wars fans like myself would have still been really happy. But we got something bigger, wider, like much more interesting and deep. You know, a question of identity, I think, is what this whole show is about.
Sure.
And I love it.
Yeah, no, I hope it ends strong for the people that are really loving the show, and I hope it can, because I'm not sure where it's going to land for me, you know, just in general, but clearly people are loving the show, and I think that's great.